Who-wee, what's going on YouTube is Donnie B all day. So, obviously, I'm doing a video with my dotted pan wall, right? Ooh, man, is this pretty. But I need to do a correction as well, or maybe a additional information thing here. Yesterday, I did a video, Bowie knife versus Bowie machete. And I told you guys about an author who wrote a book, The Fate of Nations, I believe it was. I think it's The Fate of Nations, right? And I said, man, this guy's a huge supporter of the knife community. We need to get out and support him and da-da-da-da-da. And I didn't even put it in my head, click it together, that the author, Raymond Chalinsky, that is his real name, but he's actually a knife reviewer as well. The Nutty Knife Guy, you know, the Nutty Knife Guy with the war post. That's Raymond Chalinsky. That's the guy who put out this book. So if you go to the Nutty Knife Guy's channel, he just did the giveaway. Subscribe to him and be one with Ray. Then you will be able to find more out about this if you really want. The book is on Amazon, and I showed it to you guys in my last video, so you can check it out, or you can just go right to the Nutty Knife Guy and ask him about it. Now, for only $3.99, you're going to be able to get the like the downloadable version of his book from Amazon, or for only $14.99, which is not a lot of money, you can get the paperback. Now, here's the thing: I would say maybe you should try. Get onto the Nutty Knife Guy's page and support your brother the Blade by buying a book, but ask him, say, hey, I'd like to buy one of your paperbacks. Can I get an autographed version? Nutty Knife Guy is really cool. He's a really good dude. I can't see the Nutty Knife Guy not being able to offer some way to get an autographed book or have your book that you bought autographed. He's huge knife community guy. He's an absolute sponsor of the whole Brother of the Blade. So the Nutty Knife Guy is Raymond Chalinsky, author, right? And these are the people in your neighborhood. So so definitely check it out. And now that I got that all together, let's continue. So, do I still love my dotted Panawal Kukri by the great KHHI Nepal, aka the Khukuri House, KHUKURI House. I love these guys. Anybody knows my channel knows. Look at this drop. Knows that I am a monster fan of these makers. These guys sit out in a pair of flip-flops and like a little alley, and they hand forge knives, squatting. They just squat there and hand forge a knife. Every single knife is hand hammered. So, I mean, I appreciate 100% the absolute quality of their blades. Now, this one is traditional Kukri, so you do have your little bonus knife right here, right? Your little field knife, and you do have your honing blade, which, let's see, I have not had to even hone this one, and you can see the scratches on it because I like using it. But so far, I have not had to do anything with this blade because, you know, they use great material and they know what they're doing, so they keep a good sharp knife. And so far, all has been good. So, man, I don't even know if the sun, but like all these little, I have like these little hairline scratches everywhere because I just put this thing through the ringer, chopping some of these pines with. So we do have a honed up blade now. It should be honed enough. And basically what this works as is, you ever seen the trick where you can hone your blade and not sharpen your blade, but hone your blade with like the top of a car window? That's pretty much what that does. Same type thing. So do I still love it? Am I still a gigantic fan, enamored with this amazing freaking knife? Oh my gosh, I do. How's everything held up? Let's see, through all the use, everything is good. Do we have a rusted blade? Because I'm told that you can't have this blade because it's going to rust. Well, I don't know. I don't have a rusted blade. So this thing is just a monster. It's been a monster from day one. It was a monster, and it will just continue to be a monster. And I know this because I continue to use it, and it has not failed. Not even close to failed. Hold on. Car driving guy is here, the auto school guy, and the dogs are going to go nuts. Hold on. Damn dogs wanted to go for a ride with the driving school guy. Can't do that. So anyway, I have no idea where I left off, but let's just get into this because this thing is phenomenal. I think I was showing you how everything's still tight, right, and out of sight. Just love it. Let's go play. All right, let's see. I got a bunch of stuff growing over here because I'm still waiting for mower parts for my mower to get fixed. So sometimes you just have to come out and just swat things down old school style. I got some little 1-inch forest trees growing over here. So let's see if we can't just take some more of that stuff out. And then these guys right here, I hate these things. I hate these things, but no problem. And yeah, I'm banging against that metal fence. Am I worried about hitting the metal fence with this? No, because this thing's awesome. So I have no fears. Look at this, man. Look at that. So just like that, 1-inch forest trees gone. Let's take it over to the, you know what, let's do some remember wins. Let's do some remember wins. Remember when this thing first came to me and I said, well, let's baton with it. Well, let's see. We don't even need a baton. We'll just split them. Man, this thing, I have to say that the comfort and the grips on a Kukri is really easy to get used to. It's really easy to learn your hold and where you want to put your hands on it. It's kind of that made for everybody grip, and it's fantastic. You see where my fingers go around exactly how they're supposed to. This one just touches. This one gets a good feel. This one doesn't, because it's holding the balance and showing the aim. But still, everything about this, fantastic. Now the little honing I just did with the honing steel is the only thing I've done to this edge. Just honing. I have not done anything to this edge since owning it, and those little scratches are good indicators that this thing gets used. The downward slope of this knife makes it so freaking easy for cutting. Everything, right, it's just made to cut. And these Gurkhas, boy, let me tell you something about the Gurkhas. The Gurkhas are no joke. They know what they're talking about, and they know what they're doing when it comes to blade steel and geometry. They are just some of the best in the world. I can do anything with this knife because I don't have to worry about ruining it. It is just tough as freaking nails. Let's keep going. All right, so here we are. So now there's a few different ways you can get the your Kukris done. They have an inside tang where it comes down to a V and it goes through, and then the grips, I believe, are burnt on, or they're chiseled, they're hand filed. That's what it is, I think. And then they use this glue that they use that's just indestructible. Or you can get what's called dotted, and dotted means pinned full tang. This is a distilled you know what I mean? The thickness goes from really fat to really thin, and what that does is just it changes the balance and the weight, and it puts everything where it's supposed to be. If this thing was not going from thick to thin, what would happen is there'd be too much weight in the rear, and it would not counter the front very well. So by doing that, distilled taper. I don't know, my brain just doesn't always work. Here, let me edit that out. No. So the distilled taper puts all that power right up front where it wants to be. Now they say, well, why bend it? You can get all the power with a straight blade. You can, but what this does is this points your swing. It's a directional travel. The weight of the swing coming down is assisted by the angle of the blade. So if I had a flat blade, swinging it, remember, when you swing, your arm changes direction no matter what. If I'm swinging this way, even this way, my wrist is going to curve just a little bit because your body is a mechanical piece, right? It's just, this is why when we throw a jab, this is what happens. You hold your fist like this, but the punch goes like this. You're not punching like this. It's because your body naturally turns. So when you're swinging that knife, naturally the body is going to turn. Having this downward slope helps with the aim. It makes it so there's minimal effort in putting your blade where you want your blade to be. So you can hit the same spot every single time without really over concentrating. The shape is just amazing. What else does the shape do? It makes for grabbing onto limbs as you're going through like jungle type stuff and you're cutting brush. It grabs and then tears and rips. Instead of on a flat blade where it could hit, and then if the branch is doing this, right? Let's see. If the branch is here and you're hitting it with a flat one, a lot of times what happens is it'll push. You have less of a chance to push because as this thing pushes away, now there's more blade this way to catch it. So if it's flat from here, you can see that it'll bend, but it's flat from here, it does that. It's because this extra little piece is just curling around the edge. Let's make sure the dogs are still around. They're not. All right, hold on. Let me yell for them. You know, once every 2 years, Roscoe is good. So it's really confusing when he's not doing anything wrong. He's up on a porch laying down. Didn't even see him. All right, so let's get to some hitting. You notice that all three shots hit the exact same spot. Look at this. Look at this. Every shot is hitting the exact same spot. The exact same spot. Do I have to try? No, it's just going to get there. Because when the body mechanics go, and this happens and my body is twisting, this part of the blade is just finding its target every freaking time. Look at this. Look at this. Man, this is a great knife. If you don't own a handmade kukri, you might get you might go to Cold Steel and get a machine-made kukri, which you're gonna get and you're gonna use and you're gonna say, "Oh my God, this thing is phenomenal." The reason it's phenomenal is because they copied the design from the Gurkhas, right? This is a Gurkha design, and when you want to be successful, you make what is good. And Cold Steel saw these knives, saw the Kukris, and they said, "We need one." And even Scabber says, he says, every blade design's been done. And it's pretty much true. There's not a lot of blade designs that haven't been done. The D-Bad Preacher, there's no other blade like it on the planet. Made by the Khukuri House. Check it out. That's the only blade I've seen that's not mimicked. But here's the thing. With one of these, they're so popular that pretty much any real big knife company is going to make some kind of kukri. They're just proven freaking knives from generations. Proven knives. And the difference between machine-made and handmade, well, the fitting to the sheath is a big one, but it's just, you can see it. I can see every bit of craftsmanship that went into this knife. This wasn't put on a CNC machine and cut out and mass produced. And oh, it's so perfect. And oh, look at how there you can barely see the lines from this transition. I don't want that. I don't want that. I want to say, holy crap, I can see this is welded right here. I know this is welded on. Oh man, look at this was hand cut. Everything they did right here was by hand. I could see all the lines. You got to remember that some guy put his heart and soul into this knife. One guy sat with this piece of steel and put everything he had into making it. They didn't press start on a machine and let it run and then said, okay, somebody put on a final edge on this thing. No. That's not what they do. They construct it. Then when it's time to do the sheath, they take they take all the material for the sheath, they wrap it around the blade they just made, and make each sheath specific for each knife. For each knife gets its own sheath. That is fan-freaking-tastic. It's just really, really hard to beat a handmade knife. And people that say, oh, well, you know, it's got to be made in this country, or it's got to be done. I'll tell you what, I would rather have a handcrafted blade that came from somebody's actual working sweat than a stamped out machine-made piece. I want something that somebody took pride in. And it just, for me, and a lot of people are like that. They don't care. They just don't care. They just want something pretty. But I know 100% that somebody went to work and just went to work. And they put all they had into making this blade. And they did it because they love it. Not some guy who got a job because, you know, he lost his job at this factory and he has good experience at factory work, and he said, hey, can you come here and press a button? Yeah, I can do that. Okay, good. Run this machine. No. That's not the guy who made this. The guy who made this spent his entire life training and practicing and getting ready to learn how to just make these, right? If you go to Cold Steel and you go into the factory where they're making their kukri, and there's the guy that's pressing the button on the CNC machine. If you gave him just a big bunch of steel and you said, now make one without the machines, he's going to say, get the hell out of here, because it's a lot different when the knife has to be produced from actual skill. And while I am a huge Cold Steel fan, so don't get me wrong, and those Cold Steel kukris are freaking awesome, I am just a huge fan of one guy taking some fire and a hammer, getting on his freaking this position right here and making a blade. I can barely do this for a minute, let alone do it for hours, constructing a perfect kukri. There is no way. There is just no way. There's nothing in this blade that you will see that shows an error, like, oh, somebody screwed up, or oh, he didn't do this right, oh, he messed up there. There's nothing in this blade that shows that. So to be able to have a piece of handmade something, I mean, think about it. When an artist paints a painting, they could sell for $400. You can go into the shop and get a print of that same painting for $20 because the print is just run over by a machine. It's the one that was done by hand that matters. You know what I mean? Try to buy a Monet and see what they cost. Then anybody can go into Walmart and get a Monet print. Anybody. But you can't just get a Monet. That's the stuff right there. So that's what I'm talking about. I mean, do I still love this knife? Oh my God. I love this knife so much. This thing is great out here, especially with these trees. Just to grab your kukri on the way out the door thinking, okay, let me go chop some limbs. Man, this is great. And just your overall survival knife. Think about it. These guys use these for warfare, jungle warfare. And they have to be able to pass every single test that a combat soldier, especially, and they're the Gurkhas, those soldiers, they're pretty much all like special forces, man. These guys are no joke. They need to know that their knife can complete all tasks, all survival knife tasks. And I'll tell you, this one really does. And that, I'll tell you, another thing, that those little knives that it comes with, the honing stone is 90 degrees, so you can use that for striking spark, throwing spark, or you have the little knife that has an edge on it, you can use that for throwing spark. So either way around it, you're going to have everything you possibly ever need, survival knife wise, in getting a traditional kukri. And I can't think of a better place than the Khukuri House in Nepal to really get yourself a very quality handmade Gurkha. And there's a little X right here on there. That's a little stamp from the maker. I mean, there's no logos. There's nothing all over this blade. There's no crazy names. It just is what it is. You're getting a sweet knife. I'm talking awesome. That is going to do the job anytime, every time. This is a no questions about it knife. It's just that good. So, if you're looking for a great kukri, go to the Khukuri House. You don't even have to tell them I sent you, because it doesn't matter. They get people from all around the world every single day ordering these knives, because these knives are the best. They are just the best kukris on the planet. So that's it for this one. Do I still love my cobweb in the mouth? Do I still love my Khukuri House made dotted panel wall? Oh, I'll tell you what, guys. You couldn't make me not love it. You couldn't make me not love it. So go pick yourself up one. Also, go to the Nutty Knife Guy. Check out his channel. Again, you should have already been subscribed. Talk to him about his book. Go on Amazon. Just look up his book. Look at my other video. You'll see everything. I showed you the Amazon page. Whoo-wee. Let's support each other. Let's support the makers of the world. These guys are the true heroes in the knife community, because without them, we don't have these. I am Old Donnie B all day. Until next knife.